Hi, Peter Charles here, Folk for Life Fly Fishing. And today we're going to tie the Professor as a streamer. Now, you might have seen my Professor wet fly video. So we're going to do the same fly in a streamer arrangement, and it is different. There are some components that are different, or at least, yeah, two components that are different. So you'll get a chance to see what this fly looks like. Now, I would really recommend fishing this fly. I think this will be quite well, because this is very similar to my mini brown. The concept behind it, and the mini brown works really well for trout, so I don't see why this wouldn't be a great fly as well. We're also going to use a speed technique. It's not going to be a pretty fly today. We're just going to knock it out, and when I'm doing fishing flies, I don't try to make them really pretty. I just want to get them done so I can get fishing, get a bunch in my fly box in case I lose a few. So let's get going and see the materials. Our hook today is a size 4 and a 2 extra heavy, 5 extra long. Our thread is 6/0 Vivus white. We're going to be using white and coloring it black because I don't want to have the black bleeding through the yellow floss body. We're going to be using red goose quill for the tail. The rib is size 14 uni-mylar. We're going to use the gold side. The body is yellow floss. The throat is brown hen. And the wing is gray squirrel. So let's get going. Just get your thread started. Now, first thing we're going to tie in is our tail. Pull up. A few hard turns. Let's clip that excess off. Keep that on top. Now for our mylar rib. And our yellow floss. Now grab everything together and just wind back. And I'm not going to get super careful with this. I'm just going to work this back and work it forward. As I say, this is a fishing fly. It's not going to be really super elegant. Bring it to just past the hook point, come forward. Now for our floss, flatten it out. And we want to really stack these up quite close together. Make sure there's nothing showing, no white or red showing underneath. Okay, now for the gold, one wrap at the back. Now come forward. Now let me show you something here that I normally don't do. I've really crowded the eye, and you're probably looking at that and saying, why did he do that? Well, I'm going to show you how you can use a crowded eye to really flatten your wing so your wing stays nice and low. So let's take a clump of hair, squirrel tail hair off. Now I'm not going to stack this. I'm going to bring about halfway the tail, trim it off, bring my thread back, work halfway through and then over a couple of turns and straighten it out. Now wind that down nice and hard and tight so that squirrel doesn't slip. Now we're going to color it black, and you can see my wing is laying pretty flat. I could probably get it to lay even flatter, and the reason for that is I brought the body right to the eye, so I'm actually tying the wing on top of the eye. It's not the neatest way. I should say not on top of the eye, I should say on top of the body. Right, crowded to the eye, and it's not the neatest way. You know, I'm not going to say this is perfect, but it does give you more options in terms of getting your fly, the wing to lay down, and you end up with a relatively neat finish to the fly. The head will end up being a little large, but you'll end up with a wing that will lay down. Now I'm just working this back, so I'm going to tie in my throat. Okay. Take a good clump of brown. Now to whip finish. And finally some head cement. Okay, there's our Professor Streamer. It's quite a fishable pattern. I think this is one I'm going to fish quite a bit. I really like it. I mean, the way I've treated it by putting the body right to the eye, building everything on top of the body, results in that lumpy head. But what's interesting, when I used to fish my mini brown a lot, I always made large black heads on those flies, deliberately. It's a nice glowing spot when you've got a nice shiny black head. And also the large head also helps to create some turbulence and kick some materials around. So that head is going to serve, I should say, a bit of a hydrodynamic function by pushing some water. And you end up getting that wing to lay flat, so the fly rides a little bit more level than if you had that wing kicked up at an angle. So remember that. If you're not too worried about being super neat, bring your body materials right up to the eye, tie the wing right on top of the body, and you'll get that wing to lay flat, and it'll go through the water a hell of a lot better than if it's kicked up at an angle. Because if you end the body material and you've got bare shank of the hook and you push your wing up against it, it kicks up, especially if it's stuff like chenille. So give that some thought, keep it in mind. If you're not worrying about super neat heads, bring the body right up to the eye and tie the wing on top. Cheers.